start losing my smile, and I say to myself, what's the deal? What exactly is the point? Getting all out of joint, not liking the way that I feel. Maybe I believe that it's all up to me, at the helm of this boat all alone, till some stormy detail takes the wind from my sail to remind me what I've always known. Relax and let the river flow. Let your life teach you what you need to know. Let your life lead you where you need to go. Let your life teach you what you need to know. Let your life lead you where you need to go. If you're swimming upstream, chasing a dream, make sure that it comes from the heart. If you're fighting the tide for glory and fame, you might just be working too hard. Are you winning the race? Are you swimming in place and still falling further behind? There's a current below that knows where to go, might carry you to peace of mind. Relax and let the river flow. Let your life teach you what you need to know. Let your life lead you where you need to go. Let your life teach you what you need to know. Let your life lead you where you need to go. Relax and let the river flow. Let your life teach you what you need to know. Let your life lead you where you need to go. Let your life teach you what you need to know. Let your life lead you where you need to go. Let the river flow. Let your life teach you what you need to know. Let your life lead you where you need to go. Let your life teach you what you need to know. Let your life lead you where you need to go. Let your life lead you where you need to go.
Let your life lead you where you need to go, teach you what you need to know. That's a pretty amazing song, especially when you consider what we teach and what we believe. We are the Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, and we're very, very happy that you're here with us. Welcome. Open your mind, open your heart, and look forward to a good time of growth and learning. So what we know is that such is the nature of life, that all it asks and all it wants is the opportunity to appear. And you're that opportunity. And so am I. And so it is. Because you're that opportunity, then that song makes complete sense. Let your life lead you where you need to go. Let your life lead you based on who you are and who you in self-contemplation truly understand yourself to be. So whoever you are, however you are self-understood, however you self-describe, however, whatever ethnicities you belong to, whoever you are in the world, you are welcome here and you are celebrated here. We are part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living, which is an international organization, and it has a vision, and the vision is this. We envision a humanity awakening to its spiritual magnificence and discovering the creative power of thought. A world where each and every person discovers their own personal power and ability to create and to create an individual life that works within the world and in a world that works for everyone. So welcome. We're glad you're here. And what I want you to know today more than anything else is how absolutely special and wonderful you are. Just like me, just like everybody else. So if you want to know more about us, look at our website, cslmidtown.org. And if you want to know now a little more about what we believe, here is our declaration of our principles. And this is an excerpt from a larger document that's also on that website. I believe
in one God,
one absolute power and first cause to all things.
I believe that this power is perfect love
and creates out of a desire to express love.
I believe all thought is creative, and how I choose to think creates my personal experience.
I believe in the unity of all life
and the immortality of the individual soul,
forever unfolding.
I believe
in the eternal goodness,
the eternal goodness of God,
the eternal loving kindness,
and the eternal givingness of God to all.
And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is. And so it is. Some of those people you saw in that short video are folks who we call spiritual mind practitioners or science of mind practitioners. They are certified by our national organization, licensed actually, because they've demonstrated the ability to use new thought, to use these principles, these teachings, to make a huge change and difference in their lives, to bring themselves greater prosperity, greater love, greater joy, greater experiences in their work and in all areas of life. And because they have the ability to do that, they also, not just the ability, they've learned how. We all have the ability. So what's happened is that we license those folks because they also have demonstrated that they can do that for other people. They can work with other people to bring about greater good and greater change. So each week we invite a practitioner to join us. Today it's one of our co-leaders of the practitioner corps and also our musician of each week selecting and providing music. So without further conversation, Doug Moody, take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Bob Deen, and good morning, Center for Spiritual Living, Midtown, Atlanta, and beyond. Happy holidays, everyone. It's a treat to be with you this morning. I'm so excited about this morning's topic and can't wait to hear Dr. Bob Deen's talk on the joy of becoming. Interesting, I work on finding music every Sunday for our services that ties into the themes that we're going to be discussing and celebrating. And it's always a fun challenge, and it brings me a lot of joy and so much fun doing it. And it also equates me with some pretty fantastic musicians who are schooled in this new thought thinking. A couple of weeks ago, I came across the title of a song and I thought, wow, what is that? And the title of the song was Between the No Longer and the Not Yet. And so I had to give it a listen. It's by one of my favorite new thought artists on our Empower Music resource library named Jana Stanfield. And she has a whole album, in fact, that kind of all the theme and songs center around the theme of the change, let the change begin, which we're always and constantly, doing every single day of our lives. There's always a new challenge that is forcing us in the direction of change, sometimes guiding us in the direction of change. But anyway, it's all good. So I listened to this song, and it just brought back a memory. And you'll hear in the lyrics of the song, the very first verse of it actually kind of talk about that moment between envisioning and accomplishing and, developing that mental equivalent and putting your desires and what you want out into the universe, and that moment that it manifests and celebrating that. And then next comes the not yet moment. Where am I going? Where is this leading me? What am I doing? How am I going to get there? And it's funny because we can often get caught up in the joy of celebrating, the joy of reaching that accomplishment. But I think it's human nature to kind of take that next step. Okay, so what's next? And if we're not constantly challenging ourselves and growing in that next direction, we're either physically or spiritually dead, because that's the nature of life. When we stop moving, when we become inactive, we get in trouble. And that's what I love about this teaching. And I found a quote from Ernest Holmes that reminds us. It says, "I rest secure and safe within the life of endless perfection and completion." So I think the sooner we realize that we go through these cycles of beginnings and completions and endings and new beginnings, we're constantly evolving and growing. And the Jana Stanfield song reminded me actually of when I was a kid in high school. I loved the sport of snow skiing. And of course, growing up in South Louisiana, there was no snow anywhere around to even think about taking up the sport of snow skiing. But thankfully, we had a ski club in my hometown. And when I was a sophomore in high school, I got to experience my first adventure in snow skiing and just loved everything about it and couldn't get enough of it, so much that I went every single year, recruited other kids from my high school class to go with me. I went solo into a group my sophomore year in high school. And by the time we were my senior year, I recruited 15 other people from my senior class to go on this trip. And so it was a blast, which led me to, I want to go to college in Colorado. So it was a challenge, but long story short, I was accepted into the University of Colorado in Boulder. And I had one friend from my hometown who was there, and it was really exciting. And I can remember when my parents came with me, we actually went out to Aspen for a little time before with my brother, drove up with me in my car, and we went to the University of Colorado, got registered, all checked into my dorm. And then came that moment that I didn't really think about, but it was the moment when my parents left. And my dad still tells the story how my mom cried all the way from Boulder back to Denver in the car. But it was that moment that I had not anticipated quite, how all of this stuff that I was so excited about. But then the new adventure and the reality set in of school. And of course, my first semester was really challenging because I didn't have much of a support system there. And but my second semester went great. My grades were great. And anyway, it was a really good experience for me. I grew immensely because of it. I met kids from all over the United States, and it was a bigger adventure and challenge than I ever even envisioned possible. Yes, there was some skiing involved. It turned out not to be a great snow year that year. But I can't help but thinking, if I had had this teaching growing up and before I went that, like, how my college career could have been different. What about it would have been different? But I'm grateful to have found it now. And this song definitely reminds me, and should remind each of you, that we're constantly in that cycle of, celebrating the joy of accomplishment and then the what's next. So let's focus on that moment today. And if you have or find yourself maybe stuck in that moment in between and not sure like which direction or what you need to go, just know that you're divinely guided and you have everything you already need within you. If you need help maybe with recognizing or listening to that a little bit, go to the website, cslmidtown.org, sign up, get in touch with one of our wonderful practitioners. We've got some really amazing people on our practitioner staff who are so well trained in this teaching and have been so for many, many years. And, maybe we can help you discover that voice or that direction within you that'll get you to where you want to be and moving in that right direction. It's all about action. It's not just about dreaming all this stuff up. You got to move your feet. But we've got a great staff of practitioners who can help you do that. So I'm going to now move into affirmative prayer. Join me and just relax in your seats and accept what resonates with you. And if something doesn't resonate with you, just throw it over your shoulder and we'll just keep going. But just relax and take a deep breath. Uncross all your arms and legs. Just take a deep breath and know this with me. There is one infinite intelligence, one divine power, presence, one light, one love. That cosmic something operating throughout the universe and operating through me and each person present right here and right now. And I know I am always one with this divine presence because it is always within me, always within each. All I have to do is recognize it, listen to it, tune into it. It's always supporting me. It always says yes to life. And when I say yes to life, I know that I am one with this infinite power of creation to create the life that I desire and the world that I want to see around me. So today I claim divine courage, divine wisdom, divine right action, and divine love guiding me in each forward, each and every second of every day. From that moment of the no longer to the not yet, I relax in the courage knowing that I am divinely supported and guided each and every step along the way, and that I have everything within me to create the life that I desire. I celebrate this today. I celebrate this wisdom. I celebrate this understanding, and I celebrate these cycles of life that guide me to greater and greater growth and greater expression of life. I'm grateful for this center. I'm grateful for this beautiful teaching. I'm grateful for the opportunity to love, to grow, and to learn. And knowing this, I release my word into the universal law, claiming it is done. I simply let it be so. It is wonderful, and so it is. So thank you for that. And now we're going to hear from Jana Stanfield with her song, Between the No Longer and the Not Yet. Enjoy.
Two people kiss goodbye outside a college dorm, where one will stay while one drives home, and the emptiness weighs them down. Time for letting go, but they don't know how. When we stand between the no longer and the not yet, sometimes we falter when we forget that the answers we can't see wait patiently between the no longer and the not yet, between the no longer and the not yet. Of the safety zone, great unknown, will I find my way, find my place? Will the life I seek know my face? When we stand between the no longer and the not yet, sometimes we falter when we forget that the answers we can't see. Wait patiently between the no longer and the not yet. Between the no longer and the not yet. I am not caught between, I am not trapped between, I am not running, I am standing between the no longer and the not yet. Sometimes we falter and we forget that the answers we can't see. Wait patiently between the no longer and the not yet. Between the no longer and the not yet. Between the no longer and the not yet.
Between the no longer and the not yet. That's a great alternate title to today's talk, The Joy of Becoming. Because becoming is not just about getting on the road and heading out toward it. It's also about these times in our lives where our journey means we come to a completion or to an ending point or to a place where it isn't completely stopped, but maybe almost. And we just get to stop and be there and notice and pay attention and see what's going on. And when we hit those times, we're still very much in the flow and in the journey, but we can have the joy of seeing where we've been and where we're going. It's like standing at on a peak and looking back into the past and seeing where we've come and seeing what the next peak, perhaps the next part of the journey might be, even if we may not be able to predict exactly how that'll look. We're in that season right now with the holidays. I always spell that with a Z because they seem to be such a daze at times whenever we're rushing about doing all the things that people do this time of year with the parties and the gift buying and the anticipation of gift opening. My grandchildren come to mind with that, and I think about, well, they used to get so excited. They still do with the holiday. I do too, to a certain extent, to see what kind of goofy present I might get this year, as well as some wonderful gifts that come my way, and the wonderful opportunity to find things for other people that I know would be meaningful to them. So there's a lot of anticipatory stuff going on this time of year, but it's also a time of year where people have challenges. They have challenges with all that busyness, challenges with Perhaps this is such a family time, and it's such a time where we talk about and coordinate what's going on in the family, or we're drawn to remembering the past and what the family experienced before, perhaps. And those may be wonderful memories. They may be memories that aren't so good. And yet everything around us looks very much like it may have in the past with a family member. So that triggers and brings up all of the feelings and the thoughts and the things from those times. And again, that can be joyful and it can be troublesome. It's also a time of year when it's getting darker. There's more darkness and less light just in the physical world. Interestingly, it's a time of year where the planet around us starts to slow down. It's quieter. Things change. How do you feel about that? Is that something you add to your celebration as well? You celebrate the darkness. You're like, come on, Bob, we don't do that in this world or this teaching. Yeah, we do. We celebrate the darkness as well as the light, because the darkness is a big part of what the light is here to show us. Darkness is only a measure of the amount of light that's available at any given time. It's just a measure of light. It's not a separate thing at all. So if you're feeling that darkness moving in and feeling that being drawn to or pulled toward that darkness, whatever it might be, your own personal experiences of sadness or depression or loss, or just the simple physical darkness of not being able to see as long outside, being in the dark. However you're pulled with that, know that there is a truth here that is bigger than any amount of darkness that may be coming at you, that is so much about the becoming, because becoming is about walking through the darkness as well as standing joyfully in the light. And what we recognize and know is simply that we are never separated in any way, shape, or form from the one power that is. All life wants is to express itself as you. Ernest Holmes says it this way: in the mind of man or humanity is some part of the mind of God. Therefore, it contains within itself unlimited possibility of expansion and self-expression. Unlimited possibility. And part of what the darkness provides for us, the quieting provides for us, is the time and the opportunity to go quiet and be still. The old biblical thing, be still and know that I am God. To be still so that we can hear what is where the Spirit is within us, speaking to us and coming forward for us, in us, as us. Be still. Not easy to do this time of year with all the goings on. Sometimes I think we've created this great, crazy holiday season with so much activity and so much energy going. All of our, marketing and all the things that go into this to try to avoid the dark. But I would invite you to make sure during this season that you're taking some time to celebrate the dark, to allow yourself to go into the dark. The quietness is what I mean by the dark. The quietness of inactivity. Can you imagine a world where you were walking around on a day-to-day basis and you weren't hearing music that other people had selected for you playing constantly, where you could stop and refuel your horse or your car without having a video playing at you about what you should do or shouldn't do, or what you should buy or not buy, where you weren't constantly bombarded with everybody else's idea of what should be and what was good and what was right for you, or even what was wrong for you. We don't live in that world much of the time anymore. So it becomes really important that we take the time to really step aside and be still and be quiet. So rather than hearing all the out there crashing in at us, we can hear the in here, the heart of ourselves, which is also connected and unified with the heart of God, the heart of oneness, the heart of power and spirit and love and light and all of those wonderful things we talk about. I'm not saying any of that out there is wrong, but if that's all you're getting a distorted view of life. But if you're being still and listening, then you have the chance to truly celebrate the joy of becoming you, who you are, and a greater and greater expression of that. Holmes further says about that, let us learn to be still and let the truth speak through us. To be still and know that inner light shines within us. He doesn't say that. That's my word. That inner light. But you can't see it, you can't hear it, you can't feel it until you get quiet. There's a beautiful passage about Elisha in the Old Testament, the Jewish scriptures, in which Elisha goes up onto the mountain to meet with God. And as he gets up there, a great storm comes through, like a tornado. It's a furious, horrible, difficult storm. And he hangs on to the rocks and he lets it pass. But he notices that as the storm comes through, God's not in that particularly, not in a unique way. And then there's a firestorm, which is even worse, blows through the mountains. And in the fire, he doesn't experience God. And then, and I love the musical version of this that Mendelssohn did, where after this great tumultuous music, the music goes very quiet and calm and becomes like a walk. It's a pulsing, almost not a march, but a walk. Then in the stillness, onward comes the Lord. Onward comes God. It's a beautiful image. And the real, the truer translation of that is in the stillness, in the voice of silence. Not the still small voice, but the voice of silence. Onward comes power, God, spirit, life. I really hope you can spend some time this holiday season getting quiet, shutting off your screens for a little while. You may have to wear sound blocking earphones just to get some quiet. And listen. Deeply listen to the silence. Because it is from there and in there that the truth of who you are, the reality of who you are, and the power of who you are. I mean, think about it. Everything you've done up until this moment has brought you to this moment. And I know many people who have been, myself included, who've been through some pretty horrific things in their lives. And you're still here. That's the important piece. I mean, yeah, we can get caught up in telling all the stories about those horrible things. But what really matters is you lived through those and you are a greater person today because of them. And when you stop and listen to that still small voice of silence. And I don't know about you, but if you've ever spent much time in silence, you know it's not small. It can be thundering silence in your ears and in your mind and in your heart. But it's in that we discover ourselves, who we are and what we're about, what's now and what's next. Eckhart Tolle takes it another step and says, let us learn to be still and let the truth speak through us. To be still and know that our inner light shines. Wow. Sorry, that was not Eckhart Tolle. That was Ernest. I just reread the one I did before. Here's the Eckhart Tolle. In holy waiting, all your attention is in the now. That's the piece I want you to really get. In the quiet, in the listening for the voice of silence. All of your attention is in the now, right here in this moment. You may get distracted back and forth to the future or the past, but you're fully coming into the now. And it is only now, in the now, that you are truly yourself. See, and here's the cool part. The entire universe, particularly this part of planet Earth, is fully supporting you to listen to the sound of silence, the voice of silence within you. Trees have dropped their leaves. Your body is releasing stuff it no longer needs. That's why we have colds and other kinds of things this time of year. It's just a matter of letting go and releasing what you no longer need. You've built up all this stuff through the year and you've created all kinds of things, and then you let it go. And it's pretty incredible, really, that we are so pulled in that direction. Some of the earlier practices at this time of year really celebrated this idea of now's the time to go quiet and go within. In the early days, even of the celebrating of the Christmas holiday, it didn't start till Christmas Day. They didn't do it ahead of time like we're doing. All the time leading up to it was time to be quiet and go within and relax. And then Christmas and the 12 days of Christmas followed. And that's when the big celebration took off, when the light returned. And we know it will. As long as human beings have been conscious, we have been measuring the light. So in this northern hemisphere, beginning on the 20th, 21st, depending on the year, and the calendars are a little wonky, the light starts to come back. Longer days, shorter nights. So we know that's going to happen. So we can use what's happening on the planet. Your nature, your physicality is part of the earth. You're being pulled toward that quieter time. That's why sometimes it can be frustrating this time of year, because there's a biological built-in part of you that's saying, slow down, be quiet, listen. While the world around you is saying, more, go, 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 go. You get to choose. That's the coolest part. You get to choose which way to go. Thomas Troward, a British philosopher of the last century, said that in order to overcome and work with nature and what is natural in our experiences with the planet, we must first surrender to it. If you want to control and manage gravity, surrender to how it works. And then you'll learn how to build airplanes and fly and all these amazing things people can do these days. I have a friend that climbs, he loves to climb mountains, but he jumps off of every one of them and flies to the bottom because he's learned how to do that. And also because he understands gravity and how it works and how you can work with it with those wingsuits. It's just an amazing thing to see and to watch that. When we first surrender to how our planet works, to how things are managed, then we can work with that to create amazing experiences for ourselves. You know, that's pretty awesome when you think about it. Being quiet, taking some time. I'm not saying don't go to parties, don't do your fun stuff, but take time to be sure in between that you get enough time to feel and to connect and to feel the planetary pull towards quietness. So knowing that the light is always available within us, coming from within us, that's where it is, and that's where it emerges from, and that's where we experience it in the sound in the silence. So we move towards this connection, this ability to be so in tune with nature and with the natural world that we don't need to fight against it or push against it. You know, in the fall, you don't see a tree running around trying to pick up the leaves and stick them back on. Although sometimes we see kids doing that. No, trees are quite content to let the leaves drop because they no longer serve, and then stand naked in the sun until the time comes to begin to move again, to bring forth more fruit. But during that quiet time, the roots are so alive and building resources and deeply within, not seen, not known. They're able to create the resources needed for the next big growth, for the next big adventure. So the joy of becoming is the joy of taking the time and knowing when that moment comes. And sometimes it's not even knowing what's down the hill or what's next or where you're going. So it's just the matter at that point then of being fully, completely present in the here and the now in order to feel yourself richly resourced, richly supported, driving your roots deep into the earth and into the reality of life, into the power of spirit. Which leads me to my closing and one of my favorite quotes for walking through and celebrating the joy of becoming. And that is, when I come to the end of the light that I have known, and I step forward into the darkness, I do so knowing that my foot will either find solid ground or I will fly. Come fly with me, because you're wonderful, so am I, and so it is. Thank you. Only take it away, Vance. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Bob. Now it's time for us to take the message, but also to reflect on the fact that we spread this message throughout the world through this amazing technology. And with that, with prosperity and all the giving that we get from everybody to support this community is amazing throughout the year, and especially at this time of the year. So if you would read with me our affirmation of prosperity. As I live in a universe of abundance, as I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is. And you can donate online at www.cslmidtown.org/donate, or scan the QR code. It'll take you right there. Thanks a lot. On to announcements.
And it's time for everybody's favorite fun game, announcements. Hey, stay in touch with the Center for Spiritual Living Midtown through our newsletter. Get one email a week letting you stay informed. And please subscribe when visiting YouTube to our YouTube channel. Those subscriptions go a long, long way. And while you're on your social media, why not give us a like and a share on Facebook? Let your friends know what we're doing. Invite them to come watch our services with you. And join us on our Zoom room throughout the week. We offer a variety of Zoom interaction opportunities each and every week here as part of the Center for Spiritual Living Midtown. 10 a.m. Sundays, our discussion group around the 365 Science of Mind book. Every Sunday, 12 noon Sundays, our community fellowship immediately following our Sunday services. and 12 noon on Tuesday, our online empowerment opportunity. The access information remains the same for all of our Zoom experiences. If you need access, please visit cslmidtown.org and you'll find access information on our website. Join us on any of our Zoom opportunities throughout the week. And while you're with us, be sure to connect with one of our professional practitioners. These are folks that are highly trained to support you along your spiritual journey. You can learn more on our website about our professional practitioners. Just head over to cslmidtown.org, click on About and Practitioners. Then you'll see their bios and a way to reach them and learn a little bit more about each of them. And please send us your prayer requests. Click on the Home tab and look for Affirmative Treatment Prayer Requests. Fill out the form, send it off, and get our professional practitioners praying for you each and every day. All right.
So thank you for being with us. A quick announcement to add to those are in the regular programming, and that is on Tuesday, the 21st of December, we will have a solstice celebration. This will happen at 7 o'clock that evening, Eastern time, and it will be on our Zoom link. You can also get that from the website, but it's the Zoom link for this particular service, and it will be there, and it will be available to you. You can also email and ask for it, and we'll send it to you. But from 7 to 8, maybe 8:30, but probably 7 to 8, we will take you through a period of getting quiet, of listening to the sound of silence, of enjoying some music and some good ideas. So join us if you will. It will be a great opportunity to complete the darkness and the beginning of light. So now we go to this affirmation of life that we do to celebrate what we've done and where we're going from here. I leave this place now knowing something better than I knew before. I go forth into the world with a heart full of love and a mind full of good sense. I look at the world in a greater way, knowing that I have within me everything I need to create the life I desire. I give thanks for this understanding, and I am grateful for the spirit of life that lives through me. And so it is. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, for your continued support. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown Atlanta, for your monthly contribution. Thank you, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, for your monthly contribution. And Suze Ajin, thank you for your very generous donation. And a special thanks to Hefferland Foundation for your generous technology grant. And a big shout out to all our committed donors.